Hey y'all, it's Desiree and I'm back with another video. And for this video, God is saying just for you. God says this video is for the tried and true. This video is for the unseen, the unheard, the stepped on, and the overlooked. This video is for the ones whose faith cannot be bought and strength cannot be taught. It's for the perseverers, for the ones who waited a long time looking ahead to God. Because if you were looking towards the worldly things, if you were looking towards the hand of God, you would have perished a long time ago. This video is for the ones who kept their eye on God, who kept their eye on the Father, even in the midst of the suffering, even in the midst of the fire, various fires. Those who endured, hard-pressed, saying, but God, still I serve you. God says, I have something just for you. God is going to bring you exactly what it is that you're expecting, exactly what it is that you have been promised. Yes, it's going to be bigger than you expected, and yes, it's going to come in a way that you don't expect. But God says in the way that it comes, it's going to be just for you. God says today He is honored to call you His child. He feels honored to be your father. He says you may have been outcasted. You may have been shunned. You may have been talked about. You may have been criticized for His name's sake. You may have been made the butt of the joke. You may have been made the scapegoat, the black sheep. You may have started with a lot of people just to look up and only see you and God. But through it all, you withstood, withholding nothing. God says you have honored Him, and He shall honor you. He shall put you in right standing. He says He's delighted by your faith. The only thing that you had to hold on to was His word. The only proof that you had was His word, and you made His word enough. You took His word with you in the valley. You took His word with you on the mountaintops. You used His word as a light during your darkest days. Steadfast. God gave me a vision of me and my friends, and I know that my friends represented you as well watching this video. And the three of us were sitting down kind of like in Indian style, and we had these really small brown boxes or brown shopping bags next to us, maybe 4 or 5 each. And I could sense on my spirit that this was all that we had to our name. And I could tell over an extended period of time, different people, different groups of people would just walk by us, and they would stop and they would laugh. They would crack jokes. You know, it would be like, look at you sitting over here. That's all you got. Aren't you going to get up and do anything? Aren't you going to get up and save yourself? And we all looked straight ahead. We could hear and feel the weight of their words. And it was very much hurtful and humbling. But we kept looking ahead. We kept looking forward. We kept looking towards our reward. Seeing surely our hope is not in vain. Surely our expectation will not be cut off. Surely the Lord's word still makes good. God is saying that throughout the years you have been faithful over the little that you did have. You have been faithful with the little that you were provided. You may do with what you were given. Looking to God to be your portion. You went with your move even when it didn't make sense. Even when it went against your better judgment, you remained obedient to God. You remained faithful to God. You allowed His goodness to unfold in perfect timing. You didn't rush it. You didn't delay it. You didn't sabotage it. You didn't hinder it. You went lowly. You went broke. You went humbled, content in heart, knowing that the Lord is good. Surely you didn't think that God was going to reward you with only the little. Surely you didn't think that God was going to bless you with only the simplicities of this world. Surely you didn't think that God didn't hear every single word ever spoken against you, because after all, when they spoke against you, they spoke against Him. They spoke against His word. They spoke against His glory. They spoke against His power. They spoke against His knowledge, His infinite wisdom. Surely you didn't think that He wasn't sitting back counting every single tear that you cried. Surely He saw all those times that you wanted to offer a rebuttal to all the backhanded comments, all the little side comments, all the little jokes. but you couldn't because your affliction didn't afford you to, because it was the will of God. Surely he saw all those times that you bridled your tongue and brought your heart to him instead. Surely he saw every time that you blessed those who cursed you. It's just for you. It was just for Esther. It was just for Joseph. It was just for Lazarus. It was just for the blind man. The way God is packaging it is just for you. The way God is going about it is just for you. For all those nights that it was just you. For all those dark days that it was just you. When you had to do it with just your faith. When you had to do it with just your strength. When you had to sit there and wipe them tears alone. Just for you. And woe to anybody who speaks against it, because it's just for you. And God says a righteous due. Some synonyms of righteous are worthy, honorable, honest, blameless, justifiable. The portion God is bringing you is justified, and God is going to justify you through it. He's going to vindicate you through it. He's going to clear your name through it. Because listen, I don't care what you think about me, but don't you dare get the wrong idea about my God. God is going to clear your name through it. So much so that some of the very people who cursed you will come back and bless you. Some of the very same people who hated you, despised you because of the God you serve, will begin to serve your God. Because it's just for you. Not to say, look at me now. Not to say I told you so, not to put it in their face, but to say the Lord does make good. The Lord does finish what he started. He does raise up those who humble themselves in due time. I don't care if you see me, I want you to see my God. Because I trusted him and he saved me. Because I stood by him and he never left my side. Because I held his hand and he never led me astray. Because he silenced my groaning and comforted me through the night. Not because he simply brought me a mere object that man's hand can create, but because he has revealed himself as the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords, the comforter to my plight. God says it's just for you. For all the times you waited, it's just for you. For all the times your soul was downcast, it's just for you. David said, my tears have been my food day and night, while people say to me all day long, where is your God? Listen, it's just for you. I don't care how many years have gone by. I don't care how many seasons have changed since he first gave you that word. It's just for you. You have found favor in the eyes of the King. God says you have reached the end of this life as you've known it. You shall suffer no longer. You shall be criticized no longer. You shall be discomforted no longer. Isaiah 61. The Spirit of the Sovereign Lord is on me, because the Lord has anointed me to proclaim good news to the poor. He has sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim freedom for the captives, and release from darkness for the prisoners, to proclaim the year of the Lord's favor and the day of vengeance of our God, to comfort all who mourn and provide for those who grieve in Zion, to bestow on them a crown of beauty instead of ashes, the oil of joy instead of mourning, and a garment of praise instead of a spirit of despair. They will be called oaks of righteousness, a planting of the Lord for the display of his splendor. They will rebuild the ancient ruins and restore the places long devastated. They will renew the ruined cities that have been devastated for generations. Strangers will shepherd your flocks, foreigners will work your fields and vineyards, and you will be called priests of the Lord. You will be named ministers of our God. You will feed on the wealth of nations, and in their riches you will boast. Instead of your shame, you will receive a double portion, and instead of your disgrace, you will rejoice in your inheritance. And so you will inherit a double portion in your land, and everlasting joy will be yours. For I, the Lord, love justice. I hate robbery and wrongdoing. In my faithfulness, I will reward my people and make an everlasting covenant with them. Their descendants will be known amongst the nations, and their offspring among the people. All who see them will acknowledge that they are a people the Lord has blessed. I delight greatly in the Lord. My soul rejoices in my God, for he has clothed me with garments of salvation and arrayed me in a robe of his righteousness. As a bridegroom adorns his head like a priest, and as a bride adorns herself with her jewels. For as the soil makes the sprout come up, and a garden causes seeds to grow, so the sovereign Lord will make righteousness and praise spring up before all nations.